I will have another $1,000 for you in about 10 minutes here. 2:30 is going to be the next keyword for you to go fund yourself. So be listening for those. And keep your eyes peeled, too, for people who ask me, because you'll be called if you've won, and that call will be from the 513 area code. So just a little bit of housekeeping there to keep you more in the loop. The Memphis Grizzlies make it 11 wins in a row with a 1-point win over the Cavs last night in Memphis. 115 to 114, a high-scoring game. But the Cavs didn't do it. So the Grizzlies now win 11 in a row. I have them on FanDuel as one of my teams. I've already put money on them as one of the two teams in the NBA Finals.
Oh, wow.
I'm throwing my dart at the Grizzlies.
All right.
And so they are off tonight. Cavs will be back here at home to play the Warriors tomorrow night, 7:30 here on MMS. Already Friday tomorrow. So 7 o'clock is when that pregame coverage will begin here on the Buzzard. And there people are talking about Cavaliers trade scenarios and all this kind of stuff. A nail-biter last night in Memphis against the Grizzlies. They're a good team.
Check the group chat.
Okay. Hold on. I'm in one group chat. I got to go to the...
We posted a clip from Tuesday's show where Mary was talking about going to the mall, and Alan asked where she said she bought jeans, and Alan asked where she bought the jeans, and he guessed Torrid, and then she got super offended that he said that, and now people are weighing in on the clip saying that Mary fat shames people.
It began immediately, like the texts and the, you buy
clothes. I need
clothes
new
at the mall, new jeans. Where did you purchase your jeans?
Fit, so I had to go buy some new jeans.
You went to
that buckle.
Torrid. Oh,
Torrid. An ass. Do you know that? Yeah, move your water bottle out of your face. Torrid.
I love it.
Why is that mean to say?
Because it's a plus size store. Torrid starts at like size 14.
And what size are you?
Oh my God, I'm not a size 14.
We don't know.
I'm a size 8, like 6'8".
A lady never tells, Mary. We shouldn't know any of
14.
this. We
Get
shouldn't
outta
know
here.
any of this.
Yeah, way to suggest Torrid.
Yeah. So anyway, you girls who do shop at Torrid, Mary is
there's
very,
nothing
very,
wrong
nothing. Oh, it began immediately. She had to have known she stepped in it, even when she reacted that way. I'm sure she's very displeased that she reacted that way. I was surprised. Usually, Mary, when I'll go down the road with her, she'll yes and me, and we can kind of volley.
Goof around with
yes,
it. But that
boy,
one, she's
that
just
one,
visceral.
It was.
Torrid.
Yep. By the way, Torrid does not start at size 14. You can get, listen, I like my girls curvy. And so, you walk by Torrid, it's not like huge girls in Torrid. They're regular girls in Torrid. I just think that's a funny reference because, like I said, I was at the mall. I go into a mall twice a year, and I always have a specific reason.
I didn't even know what it was. And my girlfriend watched the clip, and she's like, what's Torrid? And then Mary
if you know,
explains
you know.
it. Yeah.
Right. But when you walk by, it's not crazy. That's why I was so surprised that she reacted that way. But I just like the reference because I always forget it's a store until I go to a mall and I go, right, Torrid. Because it's a great word, and it's just a great, because there have always been mall stores for like curvy girls. Like there used to be, I think Ann Taylor was like for older women it was a little bit more on the professional side.
I always think of Lane Bryant.
I'm sorry, that's what I'm thinking of. It's Lane Bryant, not Ann Taylor.
Lane Bryant, I know Lane Bryant.
But Torrid is the same company as Hot Topic.
It is?
Yes.
Oh.
And it hasn't been around that long. It's only been around for like 20 years or so. But I always forget it's a store until I go to the mall. So that only came to me because I had just been out of Great Northern Mall.
So I typed in.
But yes, the backlash to Mary's comment began immediately.
Right, and just because it's not on Instagram right away, then we post it, and now there's people commenting all over it. But hey, we can do. We all say some controversial things.
It's not even controversial. Mary just had a gut reaction to that. She's working out. She's not looking to shop at a plus-size store. There's nothing wrong with that.
I typed in Torrid and then went to images, and it's immediately like, plus-size people. So if people didn't know that Torrid was a plus-size store, all they have to do is like Google it, and then they will see beautiful plus-size people.
Or just listen to the disgust in Mary's voice.
Well, here's what I will say.
Just jab and twist, Bill. Just jab and twist. Oh my God, like Torrid.
Here's what I will say.
She just texted 127 unfollows already.
Do I look like a bitch that shops at Torrid?
By the way,
Stop paying attention to that.
Also, let's boss up, ladies. I mean, you're going to unfollow her because she made a comment. So what? You weren't a fan in the first place then. But here's what I think is funny is, and she is not here, obviously, to defend herself. I think it's funny because the word torrid means hot and dry.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if really those are the adjectives you want associated with like a store that is selling things to make women look and feel sexy.
They use a lot of powder.
Hot and dry. What?
They must use a lot of powder, too.
Maybe. But this all started because I mentioned she tweeted the apology to the people on her flight, her layover to Denver, that she had to poop. Mike and Parman nailed it. Get these effing hot snakes off this effing plane.
I have had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
Monkey fighting snakes on Monday to Friday plane. By the way, I'm pretty sure if you watch that clip, the TV edit of Snakes on the Plane, I think he shot that. I don't think they dubbed it. Didn't he shoot monkey? Because they were going to be cursing so much, and they're like, this movie will be on television, right?
And if so, all these people unfollowed Mary. If you agree with Mary, give her a follow.
Why does it only have to go one way?
Yeah, why do we have to? We can offset some of these unfollows with some follows. So go follow Mary Santora Comedy on Instagram. She's down to 51,000.
By the way, it's got to be.
It's really hurting her.
The Mother Sundance must be a Catholic school thing because people are telling me that St. Ig still does it. They call it a mom prom, but that they still do it.
She's got more followers than all three of us combined. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I lost 127.
What, on Instagram?
Yeah.
How many followers do we all have?
I got around 20. I think you got around 20.
I got 28.
I think you got 28 on Twitter.
Oh, on Twitter? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I have 11,000.
Well, good for her.
Yeah.
Well, then what does she care if she's down 100?
No, that's what I'm saying.
And who knows how many followers they're down, by the way?
I know.
Who looks at that?
Mary does, apparently.
Does she?
Yeah. I guess.
I have 21.4 thousand followers.
Yeah.
But it never seems to budge. Why is that? Is it just like a zero-sum thing? Because I'm always getting people following me on Twitter and Instagram, but the number never goes up.
Because people
unfollow too, and there's a lot of bots following and stuff too.
But so much?
Yeah. I don't know.
Are they constantly scooping bots out? Is that what it is too?
Probably. And I just barely hit. I'm at 21.8 on Instagram because one of my videos went viral on another, like somebody reposted one of my videos, and I was like, hey, this is my video. So if you guys want to follow me here. So this video that's got like 2 million views, I've got like 1,000 followers.
What video was it?
The one where I talk about my son, Jace.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have 28,000 followers on Twitter, and I see new followers all the time, and that number never budges.
I don't think anyone's followed me on Twitter in like 2 years.
Oh, yeah?
I never get followers
I still
on
like Twitter. I play around mostly on Instagram, but I still like Twitter. I mean, it's okay.
I don't post a lot on Twitter. I'll use it to like read about news and stuff because it's super accurate. But more like rumors and sports.
Yeah, I was going to say, mostly. I use Twitter mostly to vent. And
what do you have to vent about?
Like, Twitter is just like a forum where you gossip, I feel like.
Be careful.
Why?
That's where people get in trouble, is on Twitter. I like Twitter for, like, just doing one-liners or making pithy comments.
Or telling everybody that you have to poop in Denver.
But when people start diving in, because, again, I firmly believe that you cultivate your own experience. And some people that hate social media, it's like you're following the wrong people or you're getting a full head of steam. I'm not talking about you. People who constantly complain about social media. You're getting a full head of steam and you can't. I mean, how many people have we seen in our business and other businesses, public people, who just all they had to do was not type what they typed?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean like a 60-year-old AAA ball play-by-play guy who doesn't really have a handle on social media. I mean, like, just people, who are like, I wish I hadn't said that. I wish I hadn't posted that. And then some people seem to get away with anything,
Right.
But I think for just my own purposes, it's like there's never an upside to like going back and forth with somebody.
Well,
I'm post and ghost, man. I'm not going back and forth with people.
People will post. It's mainly listeners post pictures of something they think I think is funny, and then I'll like repost it and then leave a comment, and I'll think it's funny, and the other ones would be like, "Wow, why are you such a dick?" Or like, you're so snarky. I'm like, I meant that to be funny. He sent it to me because he wanted a reaction, so like I would quote tweet it and post something. So other than that, I really don't use Twitter. Like I have like all of the people I have on Twitter, I follow either on OnlyFans, on Facebook, or Instagram. So I've had my Twitter since college. I think Twitter is like, other than Facebook, is my oldest platform. Like,
09 is when I started Twitter when I came to Cleveland.
Oh yeah, that's where you can see when you started it. I've been a member since.
But I mean, I think it came around in 09. Like right when I got to Cleveland is when Twitter started to be a thing.
2012.
Yeah.
I joined 2012, so that is before the show. So that I used to talk about like Chipotle and college parties. I used to DM people and tell them where the party used to be at, and then
where the party at. I don't mind drinking all of that.
Yeah, no, I've been at 6,000 since like 2016. Like
really?
I have not moved. I have not gotten verified. I've applied several times to be verified. Never happened. I've never gotten out of 6,000.
Wow.
And mainly it's just all the people I used to follow are now like OnlyFans stars.
Hey.
So I constantly just see their butts on my timeline. I'm like, I could never open. That's why I was afraid to open it on here, because I was like, I can never open it publicly because you're just gonna see a big round.
It's a timeline of ass.
And then I was like, I can never accidentally press play. Like, I'm terrified of that. I'm so glad I work from home at my morning job, because if there's ever a moment, I'm like, let me just check Twitter. Oh, nope, I'm gonna log out.
Timeline of ass is that new big Amazon Prime epic that they're dropping next month.
Every time I open it up, it's someone winking at me.
Yeah. Gross. It's so gross.
That's what Twitter is now. It's just porn.
Yeah, I know. Hey, let me give you some money here. As promised, $1,000 to go fund yourself. Listen closely and good luck. I hope you win.
The Buzzard wants you to go fund yourself and score $1,000. Enter the nationwide keyword cash at WMMS.com. That's cash. Enter it now at WMMS.com. And good luck from Buzzard Radio.
Stripper Scott texted that he one time had horrible diarrhea on a Phoenix to Cleveland flight. The flight attendant wouldn't let him pass the cart. And they told him that he had to use the first class bathroom, and he was in there most of the flight, and they were not happy about it.
What else are they going to do, though? I mean, you'd be even more unhappy about it if he was just
pooping in the
his
aisle.
pants. Yeah.
I was gonna say, why would they not?
Hey, what smells in here? Because then he's occupado,
Yeah.
and none of the people that are actually in first class, when we're riding economy, we're the unwashed masses. They don't want those people in first class.
Nope.
Probably got a lot of leg room on that toilet. And he's using it all up.
Is that a thing that I've never heard of? You're not allowed to pass the cart when they're in the aisle?
Well, the
you
cart
can't
takes
really
up
do
the whole
it, yeah.
aisle.
Oh, so you
And
just
it's a
have to
full
use
flight.
the first class bathroom?
I mean, I assume that they weren't far enough back where he could easily get in and out of it. So they were like, you got to go
I didn't know
on
that
the
was a
other side of the
trick.
curtain.
I'm going to do that now.
There's your little life hack. The reason you never pooped on a plane, you never had the incentive to do it. You're going to find that embarrassment go right out the window when you have access to the first class lav. That's going to be nice.
Yeah, man. That's why I need to date someone that is like on an airline. Like, I feel like that's the only time I would buy first class. Because even if I have the money, even if I worked really hard in my career, I'm not like Mary, where I like to enjoy the fruits of my labor. The only thing I like is like, I would splurge on vacations and food. But the flight, I'm like, if it gets me there the same way, I'm not spending extra. If you give me a discount, I'll fly first class. But I'm never going to buy a first class ticket. So if I date a dude that works for an airline and he's like, hey, you ever flown first class? That's when I'll fly first class. Because I'm not going to do that. I'm too cheap for that. It's against every fiber of my being to buy a first class ticket.
Well, a lot of you plus size gals are texting me, and you cracked up at Mary. That's good. I mean, go give her a follow. Offset some of the nonsense she's getting.
Oh.
Brittany's a plus size gal. She goes, I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
I shop at Torrid.
Yeah.
I'm not offended. Boy, I am really surprised that they charged Alec Baldwin. Did you see that?
No.
They charged him and the armorer girl, the girl whose job it was on that film set about a year and a half ago. He was making an independent film called Rust, and he was one of the producers of the film. He's in it, one of the producers, so he had his hands all over it, which means, I'm sure he was counting on having the lion's share of the whatever revenue they made too, which is kind of why you just start producing films. And a girl named Helena Hutchins was shot. He killed her because he fired a gun that he was told did not have a live round in it. This is October 2021. And you remember the photos of him or some of the video of him like crying, and he's sitting on the side of the road because he's just killed this woman. In the immediate aftermath, he didn't know what happened. She was on the ground. I think a piece of shrapnel or something hit the director of the film too, but I don't think he pressed any charges. And in the immediate aftermath of that, this dead woman's family kind of came to Alec Baldwin's defense. But then I think, obviously, once lawyers get involved, they go, look, somebody's got to pay for this. I'm just really surprised that they charged him involuntary manslaughter in the state of New Mexico. And Alec Baldwin and his lawyers are like, this is ridiculous. He had no reason to think there was a live bullet in the gun, because you do. I mean, a lot of my wife used to be a locations coordinator for the Cleveland Film Commission. And so you're on film sets and you're talking to people who are professionals in their field, whether they're armorists or whether they're PAs or whether they're locations, people who are in the movie business because they know what they're doing. And this was admittedly a young girl who was in charge, because I think this Rust movie was like a Western. So there's going to be a lot of firearms. And it's incumbent upon that person who's in charge to let you know there's a hot gun, there's a cold gun, whatever. You rely on the pros on set, all of whom assured him that the gun didn't have live rounds. So I was, just because of that, I mean, obviously, he didn't mean to do it, which is why they charge him with involuntary manslaughter. But still,
I think it's the optics. They could not charge him.
I'm sure
you got charged doesn't mean you're going to be found guilty.
Well, true, and I'm sure they want to keep it away from a jury. I think it's a long shot for him to think that they'll get the case thrown out, which I'm sure ultimately is what he wants. The armorist, I can absolutely see charging with criminal negligence or anything like that. I like Alec Baldwin. I think he's good in movies. I know a lot of people don't like him because he's super liberal or whatever, but he's also a guy who can't seem to keep his mouth shut when he really should. And I feel like as this case goes on, he's not going to endear himself to people in advance of maybe having to rely on a jury. In general, I was surprised that they charged him. The girl that was killed, I think, was the cinematographer. She was the one that was, because he had, obviously, they were doing a shot where he had to point the gun at the camera, and he pulled the trigger, and it killed her. But the girl who was in charge, the armorer on set, was this young girl who was in the biz because her dad was in the biz. Those Nepo babies.
Nepo babies.
Hannah Gutierrez Reed is the girl. And so, now, what do you get if you were to get convicted of involuntary manslaughter? In New Mexico, where the charges are filed, that's where the movie was shot, you get 18 months. That's if you get convicted. So I think the prosecutors, for whatever reason, really want to throw the book at these people because they added on a bunch of other charges so that it would add up to maybe you get 15 years in prison. Now, nobody thinks Alec Baldwin is going to go to prison for 15 years. But even if a jury convicted you, I mean, you get 18 months? Alec Baldwin going to be in prison for, obviously there's a lot of boxes that need to be checked between now and then. I was just really surprised that they charged him. And obviously he has the money to hire the best lawyers you could possibly have.
I think that's what they want. I think they want a Johnny Depp situation. They want to publicize the trial, and they want to make it seem like...
Yeah, but why?
To make an example out not of Alex Baldwin, but...
Alex Baldwin.
Alex Baldwin. There's a new Baldwin. Alex Baldwin.
As if there weren't enough Baldwin brothers, here comes Alex.
Alec Baldwin.
But here's the thing, though. he absolutely, obviously did not mean, it wasn't negligence on his part. I'm sure that's what the prosecutors will argue.
So he has nothing
He
to
should
worry
have checked too. I think everything he said he did check, or he asked repeatedly. They were like, yeah, it's fine. Or when they hand you a gun, when the armorer hands you a gun, you assume, because it's protocol.
You wouldn't even assume there'd be live bullets on set.
Right.
I think it was a sabotage type thing. I think they want to make, and hear me out, I think they sabotage this whole situation because Alec. And why do I keep calling him Alex?
I don't know.
You're sabotaging yourself.
I love it. Don't
Alec
stop doing it.
Didn't use the union or something, and so they were like protesting. And they're like, "See what happens when you don't use the union."
But prosecutors don't care about that. The prosecutor of a case,
if he's being influenced,
by whom?
The union.
The union? What, to cut corners?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's not going to get. I don't think he's going to get. And I don't think he's going to be found guilty, but they can make an example like, see, next time use the union and you don't have to go through this. You should have just,
You talk about a long shot.
I know. It was a long shot, but that's what I think it is.
It's early on. We'll see what they argue. Hey, James.
Hey, Alan.
What's up?
I'm a local actor, and I've been on a lot of movie sets, and a lot of them we did have firearms on there. Most times they'll have an actual trainer to tell you how to hold them, where to point them, things of that nature. But more importantly, and especially if you're using a gun that's got any type of bullets, whether they're fake or not, our guys always take the gun, they open it up, they show you the bullets, they show that they're hollowed out, and they dry fire the gun. I feel bad for Alec Baldwin because I'm sure he didn't mean to do that. It's got to be devastating as an actor. But I don't understand on a Hollywood set how something like that could slip by.
Sabotage, man. They wanted him out.
I think it's because and you probably know this, James, a lot of these independent productions, man, it's real fly by night. I mean, people aren't making millions of, even Alec Baldwin. This isn't 1987. He's not making $10 million a movie. So it was probably a real kind of fly by night situation. They got a 21-year-old girl or something who's the armorer. It's just all sad and weird, and I don't know, but I was just surprised that they charged him at all.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, we have no budget on our films, but yet we still make sure that's one of the biggest things. And sorry, it was a lesson learned that somebody had to lose their life, unfortunately. But yeah, that's something you don't take lightly. But thank you anyway.
Right. Okay, thank you, James. There's James, local actor in Cleveland. I got a break. If you want to text 35192, if you want to join us on the phone, 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 W.